Hello Stampers, my name is Linda Bedinger and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. And today I'd like to show you how I made this card. This is from the stamp set called Healing Hugs. And this stamp set is beautiful. It's one of the distinctives. And so I'm using this rose and these leaves, and I'm using this Sending You Healing Vibes. Let me lay that down so it takes the glare out. And then wishing you a complete and quick and complete recovery on the inside of the card. And so it's a very simple card. It doesn't require a lot of material. What we need to make this card is a gorgeous grape base, 8.5 by 5.5, scored and folded at 4 1/4. Let me burnish that again. And then I have 2 layering pieces, one for the inside and one for the outside, cut at 4 by 5 1/4. Now, I have to do my stamping on the front, and actually I have to do the stamping on both of them before I get too far along here. So I'm going to be using, like I said, Gorgeous Grape, and then for my leaves I used Old Olive. So the very first thing we need to do is stamp down our roses. And let's see, I need a bit of scratch paper here because the one for the inside goes off the page, and I think we'll just do that one first. And I've got my rose here mounted. Get it good and inked up. And then right up here in the corner, going off the page a little bit on the top and the side, we have our beautiful rose. Isn't that gorgeous? It's just wonderful. And the way this stamp is designed, the highlights and the lowlights are all built right into the face of the stamp. So we get a beautiful image. Makes it look like it could be 2 or 3 step stamping, and it's all just built into the face of the stamp. I think they're done with lasers or something. It's wonderful. Okay, so next we have to do the same rose stamping on the front of the card. And I'm going to put my first rose here, right? I'm going to do that same thing, changing it up a little bit from this one and tucking this first rose right up here in the corner of my card. There we go. Now, the only thing that's a little bit different about this is I have made some masks cut out of Post-it note paper so that I could my roses stamp so one looks like it's behind the other. And so in order to do that, I cut out, I did this on a Post-it note so that they're sticky at the top. And what I'll tell you, the trick about using a mask is that if you put the mask right up to the very edge of your image, because there's a tiny little ledge, your stamp doesn't stamp, it actually leaves a gap. So I always move my mask back about 1/8 of an inch. So I'll bring that up so you can see it. It is moved back about 1/8 of an inch. And that is going to allow me to go ahead and stamp my second rose here. Let's see, this one is on this side, so it needs to be back 1/8 of an inch on this side because I'm going to stamp here next. So ink up and go ahead and stamp my rose right there, and see what happens. You even then still get a tiny bit of a gap, and we're going to use a blender pen to kind of fill in some of that color there so that it's not real apparent. There we go. All right, now I'm going to put my second rose a little bit further down here. So I'm going to set my mask back a little bit. And I always, when I do this, I cut several masks. I just don't want to take the chance that I'll end up with it in the wrong place. So we're going to set this one down. Let's see. That one is facing this way, I think. Yeah, the biggest trouble is getting this mask to go on here the right way. Huh. Oh, there it is. Just like that. And I'm going to set that one down in place. And chances are it won't come near either one of these because I want to set this rose down just a little bit below that, but just in case I miss. So I'm going to ink up my stamp again, and I'm going to set my rose this time, and I've turned the rose a couple different ways here. And this one I'm going to set right down here and put in place at that point. Okay, there we go. So there I've got my 3 roses set. Now, when I need my mask is, again, to put the leaves in place. And so I'm going to set my mask back a little bit on that flower, and I'm going to do the same on this one. And let's see, I think that's the way I need to do that one. And again, I'm going to set that back 1/16 of an inch, 1/8 of an inch. There we go. All right, and then I'm going to use my old olive here with some leaves, and I'm going to set some leaves in place right in here, and you'll see the gap worked perfectly for the leaves. So that is really a good trick to learn when you're masking, and that is to set your mask back so that when it stamps right where it's supposed to. So I'm going to put some leaves on this side as well. And there we have some leaves there, and it looks like they're perfect. Let's see, do we need any more leaves on that? Well, maybe some off the edge here. So let me see. Okay, I'm going to set some leaves from the top coming down on the page. So again, set my mask back and put my leaves right in here. I'm going to put another set of them in here. Okay, isn't that pretty? I think that came out just perfect. Okay, and you can mess around with this and get your leaves set lots of different ways here, and your flowers, but I think that's just very pretty. And so the next thing I'm going to do is my sentiments. So I have 2 sentiments. The first one is sending you healing vibes. Now, I think probably the next smart thing to do, it would be to put on our ribbon, and I'm using Gorgeous Grape, and it's called Mini Striped Ribbon, and isn't that just gorgeous? I love the way that sets that off. And so we need a piece of ribbon here, just enough to go across the front of our card and anchor on the back, so a little, right at 5 inches. Right at 5 inches. And I'm going to come up here so that I have plenty of room for my sentiment down here along the bottom. Okay, so let me grab my silicone mat here, and I like using my dot runner for ribbon, so I'll do that and put my ribbon in place right along the bottom there. Now I'm going to add some snail on the back here. This snail is just giving me all kinds of trouble today. All right, there we go. And so there we have that. Now we have to do our sentiment stamping. And I have my stamp. This is Sending You Healing Vibes. And I'm doing this in Gorgeous Grape. So setting that right here along the bottom. And then on the inside of the card, I'm putting this second stamp, which says, Wishing You Quick and Complete Recovery. And I'm putting that right here next to my rose. And there we go. All right, so now this card is ready for assembly. And you can see, other than the masking, this is just a very simple card. And yet, I think it's absolutely gorgeous. So here, and I think the stamp on this one is really the trick. It's such a beautiful stamp. And I love the distinctive stamps. And so I'm going to place this here on the front. And then this one will put some snail on and add to the inside of the card. And putting that in with a similar border around, and it looks like I've got a little bit of a purple smear. If you haven't gotten one of these sand erasers, you really ought to get one. It's just magical. It takes off those little ink blobs and puts you back in good shape. All right, now what I added to this one was 3 of the largest rhinestones right in the middle of the rose to just give it a little sparkle and add a finishing touch. And there it is. There is my card for the day. Thank you so much for stopping by my YouTube channel today. I do so appreciate it. And everything that you see here can be purchased on my website, www.lbedinger.stampinup.net, or you can get to it through my blog, www.inkangingenuity.com. And if you don't already have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I'd love to be your demonstrator. And or you could join my team. Now, the join offer for the first quarter is $175 worth of product for $99. It's a heck of a deal. And your first full quarter isn't finished until the end of June, so you have plenty of time to complete that first minimum order. And then I work with all of my demonstrators on a strategy to make sure that they're making their minimums, and we have all kinds of ways that we can help and work on whatever your goals are. And for some people, it really is just get a few customers so that it helps pay their minimum, and they're really not interested in making videos or doing anything else, and that's all just fine. But I'll help you reach whatever your goals are with Stampin' Up! So that's it for me. See, the prize draw for the month of February is the Well Said bundle, which is an enormous bundle in the spring catalog, in the occasions catalog, that includes a die set that has 24, I think it is, dies, and the stamp set has 51 stamps in it, and it is a $76 bundle in the catalog. And you can get in the drawing by just putting an order in on my website. So again, thanks for stopping by, and that's it for me today. I'll be back soon with more cards and more projects. Bye!